And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's Either Reelected. We go back again with another episode. This is episode number 46. And we're going to talk about, did the Democratic Party die last night? Was that the end? Did we see the beginning of the end? And of course, welcome again to my son. How you doing, buddy?
What's up? I'm back.
You are back. How you feeling?
Again.
It was a late night. It was a good show. By the way, I want to first start out by saying thank you to everybody. It was our most successful stream we've ever had last night. It was awesome. It was incredible. We do this for fun. You know, we love talking politics. We love talking politics with each other, father and son. We figured we love talking trash to each other. And I figured, why not do that with everybody else out there in the world? And just love it. And it was so cool. We were so pumped that everybody that tuned in to see that we were reacting live to the Trump speech, which we're gonna get back to today. Believe me, because I got thoughts. You got thoughts?
I got plenty of thoughts.
I got lots of thoughts. None of them are really good. I'm preparing a video that's not a live stream, but we call it an evergreen video. You know, something you just post and it stays there forever. It has no real time to it, but it's really about why I am no longer a Democrat. And I've said this many times before on this live stream. Again, last night was just another example of why, thank God, I left that party and went to the Republican Party, because oh my God, that was.
And you're a New Englander. That's like
I'm not just a New Englander. I'm from Massachusetts.
Yeah,
I worked and lived and went to school in the city of Boston, the cradle, the stronghold, the cradle of the bastion of progressive liberalism, where it's not just a way of life. It's an institution. It's just amazing. And thank God I escaped it, because thank God I didn't infect you with it or your brother.
Hey, listen, you never had a chance. I'm an asshole.
That's true. You are.
Or as you say, a masshole. That's right.
First of all, you know what? I really want, what are your thoughts? Give me your main thoughts. Give me your main thoughts coming out of last night's speech, and then I'll give you mine.
Never thought I'd see somebody get kicked out of the chamber. That's the first time I've ever seen. Is that the first time? I don't think ever. Probably go back to Civil War times and more rowdy, unstable political eras. But I mean, in terms of like modern U.S. American politics, that is, I think, the first time in a long time, if not the first time in this era. So that surprised me that they're willing to go that far. And I was disappointed. I understand the idea of party lines and standing by them, but I think there should be obvious times or cues when you break apart from those party lines, especially, when it came to some of the people who are being honored there, who are normal, everyday Americans, some of them who have suffered the harsh realities of life, that the world is a cruel place. And they chose to stand by those party lines because they thought it was the moral or superior high ground. And I can't agree with that. So I don't think we saw the Democrat Party die, but I think we saw a lot of cracks, a lot of fractures within it, and a lot of out of touchness, I should say, with the American public.
Yeah, I agree. And I think for me, I walked away with two main feelings from that speech. Listening to Donald Trump, I felt like, okay, we've got a handle on, so we know what's wrong. We know what the problem is. It's like Alcoholic Anonymous, Anonymous. The first step is admitting you have a problem. And I think the Republican parties have said, you know what? We got a problem. We got a few problems. That's the first step to fixing it. So I felt real positive coming out of that. Now, I'm not going to sit here, like I said last time, I'm not going to sit here and say, I agree with everything that man is doing in office. I don't. The second thing I walked away from that speech was outrage. I was literally, I tried to contain my anger, try to keep it light during the live stream, during our reaction time, when we were reacting to things in real time, just trying to keep it sort of like, oh, this is kind of funny. They're not doing this. As you said, they're not standing for certain things. If you don't want to stand for Elon Musk and applaud his efforts, and you're a Democrat, I get that. That's fine. He's one of your targets. You disagree with what he's doing, how he's doing it. I get that. That's cool.
It's really your only standing point
that
you can kind of argue for or against.
I'm okay with that. But when the mother of a slain 11 or 12-year-old girl who was brutalized by an illegal immigrant is there, representing herself and her dead child, hoping that something is going to be done about this. And whether it's the action that you would take or the action you would not take, the policy that you would propose or the policy that you would oppose, the fact that that woman is standing there, the fact that that woman is still standing, period, after what happened to her child, and not just her, but Lincoln Riley's family, the young nursing student from Georgia, and then the young one, the mother, the first mother I'm talking about is from Houston. But the fact that that woman is still standing, period, is reason enough for you to get off your goddamn asses and give her a round of applause.
Right. You don't have to agree with the policy.
Yeah.
You don't have to agree.
You don't have to agree with the policy, but you got to applaud. You have to applaud that woman for saying, you know what? I'm not going to retreat from the fight. I'm going here to see what can be done. And if the only person that's listening to her is Donald Trump, the president, that's not Donald Trump's fault. Democrats, that's yours. It's your fault for not listening. It's your fault for not trying to do something. It's your fault for not saying we can be better at this. For a 13-year-old boy who's been fighting brain cancer, who was not expected to live, again, another child of Houston, so very near and dear to my heart, whose only dream is to grow up one day and become an officer of the law, and God bless him, hopefully he does. You don't stand for him. The fact that he is walking, the fact that he got out of his hospital bed and got to the point where he's at, that is not a story, a moment. That is not the kind of person you want to applaud. That is not the kind of person you want to put forward and say, this is an example of this country, that even when things are so tough, you don't give up and you keep fighting. But you don't do that, Democrats. You don't get up and applaud that example. Why? Because that boy likes Donald Trump. That boy's been a friend of Donald Trump's for years. The president has gotten to know that boy. The president has gotten to know that boy. That boy gives that president hugs. That boy brought that president a cowboy hat as a gift from the great state of Texas. He didn't bring you a cowboy hat. You want to know why?
You never got to connect with him.
You never connected with him. You never cared. No. You never cared. And that's the thing about Donald Trump. Love him, hate him, like him, don't like him. You got to respect that man's ability to connect with people. Not just rhetoric in front of thousands that we sometimes make fun of and say it's this or that, but the man connects with people on an individual basis that I don't think anyone in the Democratic Party has the ability to connect. I don't see it. You can't name one. I can't name one. You know what the closest is, and I'm dressed like him today, is John Fetterman. You know, John Fetterman I could listen to talk and say, you know what, that man's been through some crap. I get it. I don't agree with half the things he has to say, but I get it and I respect him for it. Because he's like, you know what? Heart attack, brain seizures, whatever. I'm going to get out of it. I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to become a U.S. Senator. I respect that man. I'd, as a Republican, I'd applaud that man. If he stood up and said, hey, this is what I went through, I would applaud him. And that's the difference between, and that's why I left the Democratic Party. Or yet, as I like to say, the Democratic Party left me. Because the Democratic Party I grew up with would applaud those people. Last night, I mentioned JFK. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Ich bin ein Berliner. FDR. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Those are two great Democrats. And we've gone in less than 100 years from that kind of inspirational rhetoric to the kind of crap I'm going to show you in a few minutes that I brought up. The way they acted last night was nothing short of despicable, embarrassing. I had to laugh while watching it because I didn't know what else to do with the emotions. Like, it's a 13-year-old kid. Get off your ass and give him a hand. It's a woman who's lost her child in the most brutal fashion. Get off your ass and give her a hand. But you can't do that. You hold up bingo paddles with little signs. You do nothing. You propose nothing. There's not one policy that you've proposed that you can say, this is a way forward. We'd like to consider this. The only thing you've done is resist and obstruct. And that's no way to govern. And because you're reacting all the time, it means you're losing and you're going to continue to lose. And why people like me are going to continue to leave the party, and why people like me are never going to go back to the party. And why, if the party does die, then let it die. Because it's not even the party of Bill Clinton anymore. That's basically how I felt. I think Trump delivered knockout blow after knockout blow after knockout blow, and all you could do is stand up, walk out, scream, cry, throw a fit like a child who didn't get their toy at Target. That's the state of the Democratic Party right now. So that's how I feel.